Hey, it's Bitty Penny, and today we're going to start a junk journal. This is for my niece who was married during this quarantine, and I wanted to make her something special to kind of document her first year of marriage. So I had this book in my stash, and it's actually in excellent condition. A lot of times I get books that are going to be recycled if I don't use them, or at yard sales, just different places. So, anyways, that book will be torn apart. So, warning, warning, book carnage ahead. There it is. I'm about to tear this baby apart right at the spine. So, I'm going to use a box knife. And I do this slowly and carefully. I make my cuts very light, not deep at all. So I take it in stages. I want to keep the spine of the book and the cover in contact. So I don't want those coming apart. So this is how I do it. And I look for this kind of bookbinding when I'm getting a book for junk journals. So I love it when books are made like that, that edge, that rough edge. Those are like so cool. Anyway, so I will take that insert and I will use it in lots of ways. It won't go in the trash. The first way I'm going to use it is I'm going to get all my measurements from it. So I'm going to get the measurement of the spine and the pages. And that way I can make everything fit right back into this book in a beautiful way, the way it was designed. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just measuring everything, length and width of the spine, and then I'll do the same thing of the pages. Because it's one connected piece, I know this is going to be 8.5 again, but I'm just showing you the process here. When I first started junk journaling, I would be like making the cover and then measuring again, and then I realized, oh, I should just measure what I take out of the book in the first place. So now this is always the first step in the process. All right, so now I have my book cover. Next, I'm going to select some paper. This is the Mintay Marry Me, and these are cutouts, so I'll be either doing a lot of fussy cutting or trying it in my brother's Scan and Cut. All right, I wanted to show you when you have artwork like this and you have specific parts that you want in your page, I like to play with a ruler first. I kind of play with my dimensions and where they fit on the page and get an idea about what's going to make the cut and what's not. So right here I'm measuring my page width. So now I can go in and trim this up. So for sheets like this, you want to first trim it down to where it's a true 12 by 12, right? Then you can go in and actually trim based on your page size. So at first it was really bugging me that the balloons were going to be cut off and the banner, but there was just no way around it, which is okay because I will be embellishing this. So I just cut this one. There was nothing real significant on that right side, so I was able just to cut that right off. And then I use my paper trimmer to get a straight edge in the fold, and I will use my bone folder to crease that. This paper creases so nice. This is beautiful. Not all pattern paper creases that good. A lot of times you get the white fibrous bend. This piece I'm leaving in here again because I want to show you, like, I want that just married banner in there, and I want the cake because they're going to be two separate pages. So what I'm showing you here is kind of how I'm going to make that happen. So I'm getting an idea of where I need to go, and I'm going to have to, sacrifice some of that cake stand to make this work. But I feel like it's okay. Like, it doesn't throw off the image that much, and I'll still get my just married banner at the top of the other page, which was really important. So, you might have to cut your paper in the middle like I did here versus on a straight edge. So think of your paper in that way as well. Now on this one, I did not cut it the width of my pages correctly. So I'm going to show you two ways. You could measure it, know your measurements, and you can measure it. Or if you don't even want to think about numbers, because like the day I made this video, numbers were too hard, what you can take is, you've got it creased in half the where you want it. So line that up with the other one that I had made previously. And I line up the, the creases where the fold is. And then I'm just going to trim off the edges to make it the same size. And with this design, again, it worked fine. I wasn't cutting into any of the design. And then I had just a little bit that I needed to take off the bottom there. Okay, so now I have two. Now these are going to be signatures. This journal is going to have 3 signatures, and these will be the covers to the 3 signatures. And then I also chose this flower paper here as my other signature. And that one I cut because I wanted those white garland to go across the page. So I did cut it specifically that way. All right, so now I'm checking it with my book, and sure enough, fits like a glove. I'm happy about that. And I will be moving on. What I'm going to do next is cut out 1 sheet of the cut aparts. I'm sure I'll be using either them or the frames in this journal, and so I'm going to go ahead and just preemptively cut them out. And what I don't use in this journal, I can make cards. I could even make her thank you cards that she could give her guest or whatever. So she's probably already done that, knowing her, but she can still send some things out. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all those out. I hope this process helps you. It's definitely not fussy. And I feel like when you break down the process into stages, it's so much more approachable. Now, I've taken a break, a long hiatus. I have not made a junk journal in probably like 4 or 5 months. So I'm a little rusty. Forgive me on that. All right, here are some hand-dyed papers that I've dyed. These are like my purple, and then my natural tea dye, and then I have some pink. So I wanted there to be a variety. There's so many beautiful colors in the paper pad, and I wanted the whole journal to kind of emulate that, even from, when looking from the outside. And then I have some other tan paper that I'm adding to this. So that's the inside. Now, usually when I make a junk journal, I'll use a ton of printables and I'll make it extremely artsy. But I know that the recipient of this journal does a lot of writing. So I want to embellish it, and I'm going to embellish it, but I'm going to do it lightly. She's not a junk journal collector. There's a good chance she's never even heard of a junk journal. So I didn't want to do it, full-fledged. I wanted just to make her a nice handmade journal for her to document, like I said before, her first year of marriage. So I'm adding the tan paper enough to kind of break up all the hand-dyed paper. So I'm just kind of sorting everything here. I did 6 pages of hand-dyed paper and 5 to 6 pages of the tan paper in each signature. So this is going to have a good amount of pages for her to work with and for her to document on. Let me know in the comments below, do y'all notice that how much paper changes when you hand dye it? I just noticed that when you're writing on it and journaling afterwards, there's more ghosting and everything, and I'm sure it's just the paper breaks down more through the process of dye. So that fits so lovely. Anyways, let me know what you have experienced with that. It's not anything that bothers me, it's just something I've noticed. Now, when I cut down my papers, I cut them down 1/8 of an inch shorter on that long edge so that when you fold it all up, it still stays within the insert cover. Because, once you start adding all this paper in, it just naturally is going to be elongated, if you will. But if you cut it 1/8 of an inch shorter than that signature cover, you're going to be good. It's all going to fit in there beautifully. Unless it's just completely overfilled. But again, this is like 11 sheets of paper, and it works like a charm. Which 11 sheets turns into 44 pages to write on. And so I've got 3 of those. So yeah, she's got about 125 pages to work with. And that's good enough math for me today. So there it is. That is the first part of this journal, part 1. Come back and check out part 2, where I'm going to cover the journal cover, the book, and check it out. I hope you enjoy the process. Bye.